Welcome to Chapter 8 of Health Promotion and Disease Prevention. I'm Jeremy Whitaker. Let's get started. So, this chapter is taken over by the pre-seed proceed model, which is fair because it's probably the most commonly used model used in the business today. However, it really relies on three steps of assessment, development, and evaluation. And by development, we're talking about developing a program and implementing it. So again, basically figuring out the problem, implementing a solution, and then looking at whether it worked. Three steps. Now, pre-seed proceed in particular is a staged intervention that covers those three steps but phases it over 9 different stages. So let's take a look at those. First, you have assessment, which takes up the biggest kind of chunk of it. 5 phases of assessment, basically figuring out what's going on and maybe how it should be addressed. So first you have phase 1, what's the problem? The big social, the big situational, what's going on in the community. So phase 2 is drilling down further and saying, who is this affecting? We have rampant alcohol use. Okay, well, who's using the alcohol? What age group, sex, gender, those things. Let's figure out where the problem really lies. Third is kind of once you figure out who it is, what is it they're doing? What is the exact problem? 4 is basically things in the environment that contribute to those problems. It's kind of at a social level. And then 5 is also moving toward implementation and figuring out, okay, who are the key agencies, decision maker, who else is working on this problem, who are your allies? So kind of lining all that up. Phase 6, implementation. Hey. So basically you've got the situation figured out, you know who's going to help you, then you basically implement whatever you want to do. And then phases 7, 8, and 9 are about evaluation. I believe you're taking an evaluation class. Most of you are right now. Process evaluation is basically figuring out, looking back at how you implemented and what was good and bad about how your program came to be. Outcome evaluation is your short-term did behavior change. And then phase 9, impact or long-term evaluation, was the overall change of the community. Is it a permanent change? Was it just, we got some people short-term, but overall, we didn't really move the needle on reducing alcohol use or whatever. So that's what that model looks like. Again, 5 stages of kind of assessment, your implementation, and 3 stages of evaluation, how you did it, short-term and long-term. Now, the other model that was talked about in the back of the chapter, the risk and protective factors planning model. Again, this looks at underlying predictors of behavior. And so, and it looks at it, again, at different levels, very similar to the ecological model, individual, peer, family, school, community, and sometimes even bigger. So again, those things we've been talking about previous chapters come back. So it looks at risk factors all throughout. It also looks at protective factors. Again, at the individual, at the social bonding and peer level, and then a little bit bigger, kind of the health beliefs, standards. And again, it has a 3-step assessment, implementation, and evaluation, model. So 1, 2, 3 steps for implementation of this model. So that's it, basically. Again, we have 2 models, similar in their implementation. The second model does look a lot more, again, at those kind of risk and protective factors. So it kind of takes a step back from the problem and looks at the bigger picture. Anyway, your homework for this unit, as you saw in the last video, the journal article, the FLAY's Theory of Triadic Influence. You have the, again, assignment 8 is the 3 steps of program implementation, again, that we just talked about, of assessment, implementation, and evaluation. And so basically you're going to research a problem for the county, either that you live in or grew up in, and use some data-driven assessment to find a evidence-based program to implement, and then the evaluation you can do a little less on and basically say, well, here's what we look for short-term and long-term for change. The discussion board, again, on week 7, talks about medical marijuana and cannabis that's currently in the news because it's in the state legislature. And then week 8, again, talks about the 2 models we just talked about and which one I think you'd rather use talking about teen pregnancy. So thanks for watching, and as always, email me if you have questions. Have a great week.